Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle one of the biggest, most universal headaches in the entire world of IT. And that's for both the people using the tech and the people managing it. I'm talking about the never-ending cycle of logins and passwords. We're going to break down how Omnissa Horizon's SAML authentication takes that whole mess and makes it simple and way more secure.
I mean, you've been there, right? We all have. You've got a password for your email, a totally different one for your virtual desktop, and then another for that one random app you only use, twice a year? It's not just annoying, it's actually a huge security risk. We end up writing them down, or worse, we reuse them. And that is exactly the problem we're here to talk about and solve.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why this password problem is such a big deal. Then, we'll introduce the solution, single sign-on. After that, we'll peek under the hood at the digital handshake that actually makes it all work. We'll meet the key players in the system, and then we'll wrap it all up by showing you why this mix of top-notch security and user-friendly simplicity is, well, such a game changer.
Okay, first things first, let's really define this password problem. Because, while we all feel that daily frustration of just trying to remember our credentials, the real issue for any organization goes a whole lot deeper than that.
From an IT admin's point of view, you have to understand this. Every single application that needs its own login is another potential weak spot. It's another door someone could try to break down. And this risk just gets bigger and bigger in today's world, where so many of us are working remotely, often on personal devices that aren't even on the company network. Every single one of those passwords is a potential point of failure.
So, if having a ton of different logins is the problem, the solution, at least in concept, is beautifully simple. Just combine them into one. And that brings us to the magic of single sign-on.
And that solution is called Single Sign-On, or SSO for short. And you know what? It does exactly what it says on the tin. You log in one time with one trusted password, and that's it. The system then gives you access to everything you're allowed to use. No more of those annoying secondary login pop-ups, and no more password fatigue. Now, the technology that makes all this SSO goodness possible is called SAML. The easiest way to think about it is like this. SAML is a secure, universal language that all these different systems can use to talk to each other about who you are. It's the secret code that lets a trusted authority securely tell your virtual desktop, hey, I know this person, they're legit, let them in. All right, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty of that conversation. How does this secure digital handshake actually play out?
It's really just a simple four-step dance. Let's use an airport analogy. First, you try to go to your gate. That's you launching your virtual desktop. But wait, before you can get there, you're sent to passport control. That is your trusted identity provider. You show them your one official passport. They check it, they verify it's you, and they give you a stamped boarding pass. Well, that stamp, that's the signed SAML assertion. You then take that pass, you show it at the gate, and boom, you're in. No need to prove who you are at every single shop you visit in the terminal. One check, and you're good to go.
Now, to make that digital handshake happen, you need a few key components all working together in perfect harmony. So let's meet the cast of characters in this little play. So let's break down who does what. First, you have the service provider. Think of this as your destination, like your Horizon desktop. Then you have the identity provider, or IDP. This is the official authority, the passport control, like Omnissa Access, Okta, or Azure AD. And finally, you have the Unified Access Gateway, or UAG. This guy is the security guard at the border. It's the first thing you hit, and its entire job is to check that stamped boarding pass, that SAML assertion, before it lets you anywhere near the internal resources. But you might be wondering, how does the service provider know who to trust, right? It can't just accept a SAML assertion from anybody. Well, the answer is a pre-configured trusted relationship. An administrator literally goes in and tells the Horizon server, listen, you are only to trust identity claims that come from this specific identity provider. It's a pre-approved secure handshake that's set up ahead of time. Okay, so we've seen the problem, we've looked at how the tech works. Now for the most important part, the payoff. What are the actual real-world benefits of doing all this?
And the benefits here are just huge for everybody involved. For IT teams, you get way better security because you're managing one central place for authentication. That means a stronger overall security posture and way fewer password reset tickets flooding the help desk. For users, password fatigue just vanishes. It creates this totally seamless experience, which is especially awesome for remote workers. And it can go even deeper. With something called True SSO, those credentials can be passed all the way through to the Windows login itself. That means the user never even sees a password prompt after that first sign-on.
So when you boil it all down, the takeaway is really simple. By using SAML authentication with Omnissa Horizon, you literally transform the login process. It goes from being this constant source of friction and a huge security risk into a secure, streamlined asset that actually improves both productivity and, believe it or not, user happiness.
And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Take a look at your own organization. Is the way your users get to their tools a constant barrier they have to climb over every single day? Or is it a seamless bridge that actually helps them get their work done?